Well, June 2022, just last year, Holly Marie is approached by two strangers in law enforcement. They tell her news she never expected to hear. A couple was brutally murdered 40 years earlier, and she was their daughter.
Holly Marie was a baby when she vanished along with her parents. The couple, who had gotten involved with a religious cult, were later found brutally murdered. But Holly remained missing. Her birth family never gave up hope. Then, more than 40 years later, with the help of persistent detectives, Holly was found alive. She shares the painful truth of discovering her past and the joy of reuniting with her biological family in her book, Finding Baby Holly.
Well, Holly Marie joins us now for the rest of the story. We welcome you to the 700 Club. It's a fascinating story of your life and the culmination happening just last year. Go back, if you will, for us to the beginning. Your parents were very young. They joined, your biological parents, they joined a cult. What happened in their lives? What was going on?
Well, they had told the biological family that they were moving to Texas to for more work, for better income, better job, salary. And so when they arrived in Texas, they had an uncle that had helped them, you know, get a start. And they were able to get into a trailer. And then after their first month of being in this trailer with me, they just disappeared. The biological family said the uncle had called my biological father, Dean, had called his mother and said that the white-robed group was back in town, and that that his daughter had overheard my parents, Dean and Tina, arguing about the brothers. You know, we can't make the brothers angry. And so to them, that felt very odd because, you know, my dad had only had one younger brother. And so there wasn't a brothers to be angry at. And so it was just felt very different to them. And it happened right before they disappeared.
So they're obviously involved in a cult, and the family, through these conversations, was somewhat aware of that, of what had happened. And then the story of your adoption. I mean, you mentioned the brothers in white. 3 women in white bring you to the pastor of the church. Tell me what happened. So from Texas to Arizona now.
Right. And in Yuma, Arizona, it's a very nomadic place. So people travel through, not necessarily settle down and live there. And the white robe group had come to the church before asking for help, you know, in situations for food or transportation. So my dad, my adopted dad being the pastor, would help them when they would come. And this time they were coming with having a baby to take care of. Wow.
And they just left you at that place. The pastor and his wife adopted you.
Yes, my adopted family, yes.
So when you were growing up, you were very young at this point, a baby, really. Yes. You didn't know or wouldn't know any of the details of this. What did you ever have I mean, often when kids are adopted, they have this sense of their life not being fully complete because of what they don't know. You know, it's not that they're not happy with their adopted family, but there's like a hole in there. What was it like for you growing up?
I did feel a little different from others, especially knowing that, you know, my dad was very honest with me and told me what a special gift I was to him. And that my biological parents, they gave me up to join the religious group that he called them.
Did you have resentment in your heart at all about that, or were you able to just accept it?
You know, I did. I think because of the faith that he built me up in, that I was able to accept that fact that they had given me up to follow God, because he always told me they loved me, and that was just their life that they needed to do. It was to follow God. They had given me to him, and what a special gift I was to him.
So we are in high school, and you have an experience. What happened while you were there?
Yes, okay, so in high school by that time, I had some difficulties with different family dynamics. My dad had a couple of divorces, so I had family and then a sense of loss of family.
Wow,
And
on
so
top of everything.
with his third one, the third family dynamic, I wasn't ready for that. So my heart just kind of pushed them away. And so I put my, I kind of closed the door on that, and also closed the door on my biological family, and the fact that I knew by then that they had joined the cult. And in joining a cult, you either self-sacrifice yourself to a cult or you die because you're in the cult. And so I closed the door on my biological family. So I kind of closed the doors on my adopted and biological family and put all my hope in my ex-boyfriend and starting a new family, when I should have put my hope and trust in God for the family that he was providing me with.
Yeah. But many things had happened to you at that point that would have led you down a different path. Did you think, I mean, along the way, did you ever think of trying to find your biological parents, or did you just feel like it was impossible?
You know, I really did try to find them at 11, when I was 11.
Wow.
I did try to search for them. My adopted dad took me to the hospital where I was born because we had the birth certificate, and I searched those medical records out, but was denied because of my age. And so at that point in my life, I just knew, you know, God had provided me everything I needed, and I wasn't to know then, so I accepted that.
So life went on for you for a long time, and then last year happened. Tell me what happened. I mean, just a year ago, everything changed for you.
It did. Oh, my goodness.
Law enforcement officials came to your house. I mean, not something you expected. And what happened?
Right. They actually came to my work. I was working. And when they came, they were talking about this missing child. And I just thought in my heart and mind, who do I know that's missing? I don't know anybody that's missing. And they were from Texas, so I thought, I don't know anybody in Texas. And then they asked me the question, and they said, do you know anything about your biological parents?
Wow.
And I said, yes, I do. I said I had told them that my adopted dad told me they had joined a religious group, he called it, but I know it was a cult, and that I believed that they had died in Waco.
Oh, you thought they were a part of the Davidian incident. So what did happen to your biological parents?
The investigators told me that they had died, but they were murdered.
What did that make you feel after all these years of wondering what had happened and who they were, and not just to get a closed door, but I mean a violent closed door on ever knowing them?
It was overwhelming grief and sadness for what they had to go through.
But an amazing thing happened. Their family, their biological family, had been always looking for and wondering what happened to you. They knew that your parents had disappeared, but where was the baby? So this opened the door to another whole family for you. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh, it was an overwhelming, joyous feeling to know that I had my biological family searching, wanting me, and praying for me to be found.
Yeah. What has that been like, getting to know all these people that are related to you that you had no knowledge of before?
Oh, it's been a wonderful and an amazing experience. They are a loving and faithful family, and I can tell that through how they speak, through the memories they've shared with me, and through their prayers. And they are great prayer warriors, so it's a wonderful feeling to know that my biological and adopted families are both loving and faithful people that wanted me, prayed for me my whole life. I mean, I'm double blessed.
So, Holly, what did faith mean to you through all of this? I'm sure it came and went as you were growing up and going through all the things that you did. But right now, how does faith impact knowing all of this and just dealing with all of this?
Oh, I couldn't have gotten through this without my faith in God. There is just no way. I am so thankful to have that stability in my life.
That's for certain. You support a group called Genealogy for Justice, an organization. What is that?
Yes, this is an organization that actually evolved out of the search for me.
Really?
Yes. The genealogist Allison Peacock and my biological family formed this organization to help identify more unidentified cold cases like my parents.
Wow.
So that we could turn my parents' tragedy into miracles for other families.
Yeah. That's what God does, isn't it?
Yes, amen.
Well, the whole story, we are scratching the surface here
Yes.
of all that's happened to you. The whole story is in Holly's book called Finding Baby Holly, and it's available where books are sold. There's one other detail that we do need to share with you. The murder of Holly's parents remains unsolved more than 40 years on. If you have any information that you think would be helpful to the investigation, please contact the Dean and Tina Klaus tip line, and this is the email address for that: babyhollytips@oag.texas.gov. And you can learn more about the entire story by getting her book, Finding Baby Holly. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. What a fascinating story, and how wonderful to see how God took something that was negative and turned it into a blessing for others, and continues to.
Yes, thank you for having me. And I just want to say one more thing, if I may. I would love to urge everyone to please donate your DNA into the GEDmatch program so that investigators and genealogists can use your DNA to be able to help solve more cases. It is a passion in my heart that has grown, and that was in my grandma Donna's heart.
Yeah, it's wonderful.